Democrats inside and outside of Georgia encouraging their liberal brethren to flood the Peach State in order to help the left's candidates in those two Senate runoff elections on January 5th. Let's debate the races and check in on the latest from the progressive left and their expectations for a Biden administration with tonight's Fox News contributor Leslie Marshall, former Deputy Assistant Attorney General John Yoo, and Turning Point USA President Charlie Kirk. Welcome back to all of you.
Hey, Shannon.
Hey, Shannon.
All right, I want to play something that gives us the two sides of this Georgia race, how they sum it up.
Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, you're not going to take Georgia. It's ours.
Mitch McConnell is not a good leader. He is not a good man, and we cannot withstand 4 more years of blocking.
All right, two races actually now in play there. Charlie, I expect a huge voter turnout on both sides. I expect a lot of money are going to be pouring into that state, a lot of donations. How do you see this shaping up? What's at stake?
Yeah, it's going to be a very consequential race down in Georgia in a lot of different ways. A lot of Republicans are viewing Georgia as a must-win, both for Senator Kelly Loeffler and Senator David Perdue. I'm most interested to see how Democrats message this race down in Georgia, because if you actually look nationwide, last Tuesday was an awful night for Democrats in House and senatorial races. They spent hundreds of millions of dollars on races they didn't even get within 5 or 6 points, specifically in Iowa and also in South Carolina, Kentucky. And so it's going to be very interesting to see whether or not Democrats double down on a very radical coastal agenda. Nancy Pelosi, she said she was going to win between 10 and 15 seats last Tuesday, and they're still counting votes, but it looks like Republicans could pick up between 8 and 10. And just in the last 24 hours in Orange County, it looks like Michelle Steele and Young Kim have both flipped 2 Democrat seats in California. It looks like 2 more races in New York are about to be called for Claudia Tenney and Nicole Malliotakis in New York. And so we'll see if the Democrats learn any lessons or if they're going to double down on a Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi radical agenda.
Well, here is how Senator John Kennedy, Republican out of Louisiana, here's how he sums up what's at stake.
You've got nothing to worry about unless you are a taxpayer, a business owner, a parent, a cop, a gun owner, a person of faith, or an unborn baby.
Leslie, that's what he says you got to worry about in this race. These races.
Yeah, I'm going to go hug a tree after I do all of that. Quite frankly, it's just fear mongering. That's not what it's about. Look, the country is very divided. Some people want what Democrats are proposing. Some people want what Republicans are proposing. Look, the Georgia races, you just got to look at numbers. Loeffler is positioned pretty well to win because if you combine what her original opponent had together, it's 52-53%. It's going to be very tough for Democrats to take this. But of course, both sides are going to fight because they want control of the Senate, because Democrats are in control of the House. Joe Biden is the president-elect. And if they have the Senate, then it's easier for the president-elect and for Democrats to get their agenda through. And one more thing, Nancy Pelosi is the Speaker of the House. She doesn't have anything to do with Senate races. A little information from Kelly Loeffler there.
Okay, Leslie, maybe a chance that you're hoping that the Republicans will be a little overconfident with those Georgia races. We'll see. Nobody believes polls anymore anyway that I talk to, so
True.
Whatever. Okay, so if we're looking ahead to the Democratic Party and what they're going to be dealing with, regardless of whether they have the Senate, we know probably have the House. On Capitol Hill, there's going to be a lot to work through. Well, Black Lives Matter, the founder, one of the co-founders, has come forward to say to the Biden and Harris potential administration, we expect some things from you. This is a letter from Patrisse Cullors, who is one of the co-founders, as cited in townhall.com. They say, Black people won this election. Black Lives Matter invested heavily in this election. We want something for our vote. John, a lot of talk about who the Democratic Party is now going to owe favors to or owe some allegiance to because of who showed up to vote. How do you think that plays out?
I don't know. If you're going to look at the results of this election, however, and you're Joe Biden, you're going to say, gosh, I barely made it. 70,000 votes, switch in 3 states, and we're going to be talking about Donald Trump's second term. And if it was not, it seems to me, the woke BLM progressive wing of the party that dragged Biden over the line. As Charlie said, the Democrats only picked up 1 Senate seat. They lost 10 House seats. They also lost in the state houses. It doesn't seem to me that the agenda of saying defund the police, deconstruct the economy is going to work. And so I think that's what's going on here. I think the progressive left is hoping for a second bite at the apple. They didn't win the main election. They're hoping to kind of get it back with these 2 Georgia seats, because if they can get rid of the filibuster with just 51 votes in the Senate. And then you could imagine all kinds of things like packing the Supreme Court and a Green New Deal, because there'd be no way for a minority to stop them.
Well, we'll know January 5th. Or we hope we will, at least that night, depending on how close these races are. Leslie, John, and Charlie, thank you all, always.
Thank you, Shannon.
Shannon.